Life after life. Kaylee never understood why grown-ups argue for everything. Her parents had been at it for hours. Her mother was livid at her father for leaving his muddy boots in the foyer. Kaylee felt like she was just picking on her dad, and it made her upset considering the fact her dad was a gentle soul who catered to both of them. The arguing became intense when her father mentioned the clothes that her mother never moved from the washer. Kaylee knew she had to get out and relax her mind before she screamed for them to shut up. That would have just caused more arguing, so escaping seemed to be the only way out, even if it was just for an hour. The thought of peace and quiet brought a hint of smile to her face. The night was cold for the month of November in Texas, but it was a welcoming breeze that gently touched her face and brushed back her hair like cold, soft fingers. Listening to classical music, Kaylee walked down the dark sidewalk that led to the Corrigan Cemetery, one of the oldest cemeteries in town, with beautiful Gothic statues and stained glass windows that adorned the crypts. Looking around, Kaylee was drawn to a statue of an angel hugging a little girl in her arms. The statue gave off an illuminating blue light that was comforting to her. Kaylee sat down and leaned back against the base of the statue, closing her eyes while listening to Mozart. All of her dark thoughts went away as she floated on, the music notes to the land of tranquility. Not long after, as she fell asleep, she felt a hand on her shoulder and was awakened by a gentle shake. Kaylee opened her eyes and focused on a little girl standing over her. "Hello, sleepyhead. What are you doing sleeping here?" Kaylee looked at the girl, who was dressed in light blue jeans, a Nike jacket, and blue baseball shoes. Her brown curly hair was in a ponytail, curly trendles hanging around her face. Her skin was soft brown, and she stood there with a smile on her face. "I must have fallen asleep while listening to music. Who are you, and why are you here?" "My name is Derica, and I just hang around here sometimes when I want to clear my thoughts." Kaylee noticed Derica barely made eye contact, but the two girls sat and talked about how their home life wasn't ideal at the moment, and how they both needed to escape to a quiet spot for the next 4 months. Both girls would spend time together in the cemetery. Kaylee would sneak out after bedtime and return around 10 at night. The nights were fun when the girls talked about boys, hairstyle, and clothing trends. Derica knew a lot about clothing styles, but Kaylee noticed she always wore the same clothes. When they met up, Kaylee had thought Derica just used those particular clothes so she wouldn't get her other clothes dirty. One Friday, Kaylee decided to ask Derica over on the following Saturday to hang out at her house so they could look up new outfits that were trending on Teen Scene, the social site that every teen at her age swore by. At the cemetery, Kaylee looked around for Derica but couldn't find her. After a few minutes, she gave up waiting for her friend and went home. During breakfast the next morning, Kaylee's dad asked her why she looked so sad. She said that she had plans for the day, but her friend hadn't shown up. But her dad had assured her that the friend might have been busy and she would probably be in touch with her soon. As soon as bedtime came around, she kissed her parents goodnight and went into her room. Shortly after, Kaylee heard her parents' bedroom door close. She was on her way to the cemetery. Walking down the path, she met with Derica. "Where were you yesterday? I came here to ask you to hang out at my house, but you never showed up." Derica looked into her friend's eyes and with a slight smile that never reached her eyes. She told Kaylee she went to spend time with her parents. Kaylee thought it was a strange thing to say, but shook it off and enjoyed time with her. Soon it was time for the two friends to part. Kaylee went ahead and asked, "Hey Derica, what's your address? I can come over tomorrow and we could look up some fashion vlogs." Derica smiled and gave her the address. "I live at 453 St. Luke's Drive. Come around 2. If I'm not there, ask for my sister Nico, and she'll let you know where I am." Kaylee left her friend, who waved goodbye to her and turned away, walking back towards the statue of the angel holding the small girl. Kaylee figured Derica had left something behind, so she went back home. Kaylee woke up the next morning full of anticipation to hang out with her new friend. She waved goodbye to her parents after giving them an address to where she would be. The house was just 3 blocks away. "I'm looking for Derica. She told me I can come over to hang out with her today." The girl looked at Kaylee in pure shock, stepped out, closed the door, and particularly pushed Kaylee in the rocking chair on the porch. "Is this some kind of sick joke or something? Because I will call the police and have you arrested for harassment." "No," Kaylee responded in alarm. "I have been meeting Derica at Corrigan Cemetery for the past few weeks. She gave this address last night and told me to meet her here. She said if she wasn't here, that Nico, who I'm guessing is you, would tell me where she is." By the time Kaylee was upset, thinking this girl was being a jerk for no reason, until the girl started to hysterically cry. Kaylee moved closer and closer to her, hugging her and waiting for her to calm down. The girl stood up, looking at the cars passing by the street. "My name is Nico, and Derica is my sister. She died in June of last year of suicide in her bedroom after taking an overdose of our mom's sleeping pills. She was suffering from depression after her grandmother passed away. Her and my grandmother were very close, and she helped take care of her until she died. I have been so upset with her leaving me that I never go out or talk to anyone who isn't family." The girl turned towards Kaylee and said, "If you saw her, maybe she has some kind of message for me, like why she left me by myself." Kaylee was broken by those words and told Nico how she dressed and how kind she was to her. After hearing those words, Nico finally smiled and said, "That's definitely Derica. She loved that jacket so much that we buried her with it." The two girls talked and laughed for the entire day, talking about Derica and her quirky ways. Kaylee got up to leave, but asked if Nico would be up to a friend who can be annoying but would enjoy hanging out with her. Smiling, Nico said, "How can I say no to someone that my sister sent to me through this?" After exchanging phone numbers, the two girls hugged each other and promised to meet up with each other as much as possible. That night, after her parents went to bed, Kaylee snuck out and headed to the cemetery. She went back to the statue of an angel, and the little girl pulled out her flashlight and read the inscription. Derica Renee Hensley, 2005 to 2021. You will always be in our heart. After reading those words, Kaylee looked up to see her friend. "Thank you for helping my sister. I didn't want her to have the same fate I did," Derica said, slowly fading away. "You're welcome, my friend," Kaylee said through her tears. Before leaving, Kaylee laid down a teen magazine filled with pages of trending clothes styles and walked away feeling grateful for both of her new friends. If you or someone you know is dealing with depression, always know you are not alone and reach out for help. We are all special and needed in this world.